working with people live, online, with groups and with individuals. Purple ones, a white one, I have small, I have big ones. For people with trauma, she opens up her suitcase and then the children can build their own puppets. So she has neutral puppets and the children can put a smiling mouth.
Hello, welcome to Action Explorations. My name is Ina Bobikova, and today our topic is working with mini stage online. And my guest today is Ina Hogenboom. Hi, Ina. And I'm in Moscow right now, and Ina is in Netherlands. Would you please tell about what is the purpose of mini stage?
Let's start with the purpose of my work. I work with psychodrama. And that is the focus that I use, working with people live, online, with groups and with individuals. I started to work with the mini stage because sometimes for my clients, doing the psychodrama was too heavy, too confronting, too overwhelming, or they started to dissociate while doing the psychodrama, because psychodrama can work very strongly while doubling. You get your clients to go a little bit deeper and deeper, and it can be overwhelming for clients. Then I started to think about, because I saw people working with mini stages, and I started to think about why and how can I use it and why do I want to use it. And the reason that I'm using it is to put a little bit more distance between the protagonist, my client, and the subject that we are talking about. So it's a little bit of a cooling off technique. Like in psychodrama, you have warming up and you warm up to your theme. But sometimes the warming up is too heavy, too quick, so you have to use cooling down techniques. And this is how I view working with the mini stage. This is how I started.
Do you know by any chance who was first who created a mini stage?
I don't know exactly who started. I know a few things. I saw a video of Mario Cosso working with his mini stage. I started to look for this mini stage, or thinking about maybe I want to build one, I don't know. But there is a woman who's building the mini stages, and the stage is called Rosenthal Mini Theater, something like that. So she's an Australian woman, and you can get into contact with her, and then you will have a replica of the Beacon stage. So like Mario's mini stage and Kate Hutchins' mini stage, they are these replica, and they probably bought it from Mrs. Rosenthal. So that was one track. Another track is there is a professor in Belgium, Leni Verhofstadt. She's well known in the psychodrama world, and she has worked a lot with children. She works with psychodrama, but she also works with puppets, and she doesn't have a mini stage, but she has a puppet suitcase. So when she's going to work with children and with their parents, she opens up her suitcase and then the children can build their own puppets. So she has neutral puppets and the children can put a smiling mouth or sad mouth or different hair. She can manipulate like the figures that she puts on stage, and it's really, really exciting to look at. And we did a workshop with it, so you can use it with children, but we did a workshop. She gave a workshop in working with adults. It's amazing how comparable the reactions are if you compare like doing normal psychodrama or working with the puppets. Similar.
Oh, what kind of work could be done at the mini stage?
Different kind of works, because I started to explore it a little bit more. So I started using it for people with big problems, with trauma related problems. Then I started to use it with all kinds of different peoples, and this was still live in person. So I started to work with it in person. I had a kit that I brought and I used it, and I had only like really little figures, like the wooden ones.
Oh, uh-huh.
But I also used all kinds of materials that I had in my office. This is one I made myself.
Wow, really? Wow, that's cute.
And you can use colors, because this one, I don't like the colors that much. So you have to be like really crafted to make nice puppets of it. And this one, I use different colors. So purple ones, a white one, I have small, I have big ones. You will see it in a minute. And so that is how I started working with it. And I started working with a lot of trauma because of what I mentioned earlier. And then I started to expand it, and the coronavirus pandemic came, so I started to work with it online. So I thought, well, I could use my little cabinet to put all my figures on it, and that started to expand too. And how I started using it also was as a start, for example, of psychodrama. There is a topic, you have a group of people, and we started to put roles on stage. Another thing is, I work with Kate Hudgens a lot with therapeutic spiral model, and one of the safety structures is gathering the strengths. So that's how I use it too. So people choose a strength, they choose an object which represents that strength, and then we combine all the strengths on one stage. So we have the group strengths on stage. It's like the circle of strength with a therapeutic spiral model, but then in symbols. So that's the second way of using it, as a starter of sociodrama, or as a starter with the circle of safety, the circle of strength. But there's also this technique you probably know, it's the magic shop. And people can choose a strength or a quality and pick out a figure, put it on stage, and then also put on the stage what they want, how they want to pay it. So they have another symbol for the thing they want to get rid of, or they want to invest in the new quality. I would suggest you check, like, there are smaller figures and bigger figures. Use the height of the figure. If you look on my mini stage, you see there are like big figures and smaller figures. For example, there is a wizard. I like the idea of a wizard and a fairy queen. I also like to have male figures and female figures. You have to have some of the figures in male, some of them female. I have these little boxes. They are not people, but they are boxes. Like if there's something really, really precious, you can put a box on the stage with a secret in it or with something special in it. I think it's a good idea to have some neutral figures, like this one I showed you. This is a more neutral one, but also extravagant ones. So I like to have all kinds of different sort of figures. And Kate reminded me that I do not have a proper tree. So I'm looking around, where can I find a tree? So what I do, I go to secondhand shops and I hoover around in the shops, and I think, well, that's a nice thing. That's how I found the Donald Duck. I really like the Donald Duck and the wizard and the fairy queen. What I think is really necessary is that you have sort of heightened stage. So the circle on my mini stage, it is heightened, so you know this is the stage, and it has psychological meaning. And I can show you that in an example.
Is there any important moments you think it's important to add about how does it work right now, or we just should go into a demonstration?
If you are going to work with a mini stage and you have prepared your stage, don't be afraid that people won't choose anything, because people do choose things and they do connect with objects. I don't know exactly why that is, but they do connect with it. And they are really specific in it, because some of the places in my stage are more hidden. So, for example, there I had a car and it was never used, and someone saw the car and someone chose the car. And it was important. So it's important that you have all these different subjects and let people choose freely for the subjects. That's one thing. Another thing, if you are going to put the objects on the stage, beware to, if there is some traumatic background within the subject, beware that you are very careful in putting the traumatic role on the stage. And that's what I want to explain while doing this example.
Wow, that's great.